5 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Invitational. We have Game 2 incoming between Vega Squadron and Next.KZ, and what a brutal Game 1 it was. It just seems like Vega, at least in the last game, showing themselves to be quite a few levels above Next, so hopefully Next aren't on tilt or anything like that. I'm Mikelorus, one of your casters for this game. More H Please is here as well. I don't even know what Next.KZ could do in this screen to make sure that that last game doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, they were certainly out-executed, perhaps slightly out-picked as well. Even top lane, when the anti-mage was the only one left alive on his team, pretty sure he should have been able to get out there, but just having the Disruptor with Thunderstrike available to give vision, he tries to blink out, gets glimpsed back, and is the 5th death on the team. So maybe they pick a little bit more fighting potential early on up against what was a very aggressive lineup from Vega. That 5th pick, Bloodseeker, certainly did work out for Pashe Bashu. And something to note now as well is Seema the Slayer has returned to replace King R, so the full squad available to Vega. So it was difficult in Game 1. It's going to be even worse for Next.KZ in Game 2. We'll see how they respond in terms of the draft in this one.
Well, much like in the last game, Io is still in the pool. Queen of Pain is going to get the ban out this time, which is one of no one's more comfortable heroes, so that's not really too surprising there. But, man, no one can also play a mean Shadow Fiend. Wouldn't be surprised if Vega Squadron highly picked that one up. And Next.KZ grab a Shaker as their first pick. It's a pretty good way to start. However, I think if you get stomped that hard, like in Game 1, you really got to, shake things up, and not in an Earthshaker sense.
Yeah, Vega going to go right back for the Tusk, and they're going to pick up the Wyvern for themselves. So they're going to secure some of his physical damage in terms of the ultimate and the right click, but I'm not going to give that over to Next.KZ. They're going to jump onto the Earthshaker themselves. So perhaps look for another strong laner coming out from Vega here, knowing that this ES is probably going to roam around and try and secure some farm for that mid laner.
Alright, so this time I'm pretty sure Vega aren't going to do the whole, give Mag the Earthshaker, or give Mag the support hero and give Solo the Tusk. It is more likely just going to be Wintwerven and Tusk just being the two support heroes. Shadow Fiend are going to get banned out from no one, as Next.KZ do grab that Io. It's something that they can do because they didn't slam their first two supports, as at least for other heroes, as their first two picks. So Vega, is it going to be a Tiny now? Are they really even scared of Tiny? Because when you relocate in and you're instantly hit by the curse, Tiny can actually two-shot his friendly Io.
Yeah, definitely so. It'll be interesting to see what KZ pair up with this, but it does give Vega definitely the ability to pick deny, as well as to ban from them some of the better heroes to pair up with this IO. So a little interesting that they'll pick it up alongside the Earthshaker. It was one of the heroes that you mentioned went unnoticed in the first draft, and Next.KZ definitely do have to look to shake things up here in this second game. The relocate can be very nice against the squishy Wyvern, but she does have the Curse and the Cold Embrace. And as you mentioned, the Curse can kill off that IO, and the Tusk has the Snowball defensively. So thus far, Vega aren't too susceptible to these relocate ganks.
You could always be a little bit more prepared. Disruptor is, a really great counter to that. That's kind of a more proactive, I would say, than Wintwerven and Tusk. But, I mean, they're all just counters that you can have. So regardless of what Next.KZ pick up for this IO, it might be a little bit difficult to actually get those kills. In that sense, because of all the kind of bursty defense of Vega Squadron, the Cold Embrace makes someone purely physical immune. The Snowball makes them completely immune. Getting someone who has more sustained damage, like a Bristleback, seems to be a little bit more appealing here for Next.KZ over someone like a Tiny.
Yeah, definitely they would want to draw out engagements here. The defensive capability is too good from Vega thus far for them to burst targets down. So I do like that route that you just mentioned, going something like a Bristleback. Not the tankiest in terms of armor thus far for Vega, so definitely could be pretty effective. Of course, the Cold Embrace is there up against the Quills, which is pretty nice for Vega, but either way, I think going a little bit too heavy burst for Next.KZ could spell doom for them. Dragon Knight Band going to come out from Vega Squadron, and he's a pretty good pair up with the Wisp as well. He can look to push early towers up against Vega, and they don't have the greatest counter push thus far. They do have the Ion Shell that they just picked up there from the Darkseer, but before then, Dragon Knight looking pretty good, so I don't mind that ban at all coming out from Vega. Next.KZ going to take out the Ursa, interestingly enough, away from Vega.
And we have a Bane from Next.KZ. Now, give me 10 heroes for the next pick of Next.KZ. I wouldn't have guessed the Bane. Io Bane most likely going to be support duos. Earthshaker, you're going to get maybe a solo lane of experience, but solo off-lane Shaker is, it's okay sometimes, but up against what Vega have, I don't know if that's going to be great.
Yeah.
Slardar is just by himself going to be such a nuisance. Next.KZ grab the Juggernaut, and it's pretty reasonable there. But, man, this is... I mean, last game we saw Vega Squadron just out-execute and, well, out-draft Next.KZ as well. This doesn't seem different enough for Next.KZ to convincingly shake up that previously established formula.
I feel like they have way too many counters to Jug for him to be picked up this late. They've got the amplified damage that's going to pierce through that Blade Fury, give them vision. They've got the Snowball and the Cold Embrace to dodge up that Omni Slash. So it does look a little bit scary for this Jug here. Darkseer can lane against him one-on-one pretty effectively as well, if that's what Vega chooses to do. And the Wyvern Tusk Slardar lane is definitely a scary one if they want to put it on either side of the map. So I don't know that, yeah, as you mentioned, Next.KZ has really shuffled it up enough to be convincing contenders in this game 2 after being stomped in 14 minutes in game 1. We'll see what they round out the lineup with. Once again, as you mentioned, I don't feel like it's the greatest situation for a core Earthshaker here either. A lot of resistance from the physical damage, and he's fairly squishy despite being a strength hero early on, especially against that Slardar once he picks up the amp damage.
And there's really no lane where Earthshaker can go, it looks like, where he's going to be fine. Like, it's either you're going up against a Slardar, Wyvern, Tusk lane, or you're going up against a Darkseer, and either one of those is really bad. I guess Darkseer is slightly less bad, but not really by that much. So it's going to be rough times for this Shaker right now as Vega Squadron get the TA banned out, and it's going to be a Wind Ranger pickup for them. A very mid-rangey type strategy for Vega Squadron, but this game, unlike the last thing, we might see some shenanigans with the Tusk. Snowballing in with Slardar, I don't really care who they're going into. That is a devastating 1-2 combo. Magnus is the last pick for the Next.KZ side, so it looks like this is just a all-in on the Juggernaut type draft. We've seen this plenty of times in this patch and in the previous one, but man, I don't know if he has adequate early game support.
Yeah, and we mentioned it earlier. There's just way too many counters to that Omni Slash, so he is going to have to be pretty much right-click oriented, and probably won't see him build too much into the Omni. They have the Wind Run, the Cold Embrace, the Snowball, all there up against that Omni Slash. So I really love the Wind Ranger pick up against an IO. Shackles are much more likely to land, and the Wind Run against the physical damage, which they are pretty much all in on, as you mentioned, is a really nice tool as well. So I feel like Vega have once again outdrafted Next.KZ, and perhaps even more so than in game 1. So Next.KZ going to have to execute very well here. Going to have to survive this early game until they pick up that relocate.
And that is always going to be potentially pretty difficult. Their ability to clear stacks is not exactly that high. IO Juggernaut is a fine combination. You just charge forward, and you don't need to Mask of Madness for Juggernaut because you have the movement speed and attack speed from the IO. But they really can't clear out stacks effectively unless they get high levels of Empower. And that means that if they do stack, it's going to take a very long time until they could actually get value off of it. And if you look at Vega right now, just an Ion Shell, Splinter Blast, like Power Shot, they can very easily steal any stacks that Next.KZ may create. If this Juggernaut gets slowed down at all in the early stages, he won't have that quick ability to get his items back up by clearing out a quad stack of hard creeps.
Yeah, definitely so. And they don't scale extremely well in their other heroes that make up their lineup. I mean, Vega don't scale super late either. Slardar is never considered one of the scariest heroes in the late game, but just Slardar Wind Ranger alone should be enough to take out this Juggernaut later on, and they should be able to burst down the IO more often than not, which takes away a lot of his firepower.
I mean, Slardar, the late game power of Slardar is certainly pretty potent, but Slardar just never gets the farm necessary. Like, I've never seen a 6-slotted Slardar in a pro game. Like, it just doesn't really happen.
Doesn't really have the ability to farm very well. It would certainly take a pretty long while for him to get 6-slotted. It looks like we will go here. Unfortunately, guys, the admin didn't select the right server for this one, so we may have a remake at some point, but hopefully everything's just smooth for the players for now, and they are going to start to walk out to lane. Looks like Ahmed for Next.KZ going to take towards that mid lane on the Magnus. Sumaru going to accompany him for now on the Bane. We've got the IO Juggernaut going towards the top lane in David and Topor respectively, and finally over towards that off lane. Tomash once again going to be picking up this core Earthshaker.
All right, Vega, they have Solo playing the Tusk again. Mag is this time playing the Darkseer, but going with Solo just for the top lane. Pashu is going to be playing the Slardar. No one's on the Wind Ranger. Sima is on the Winter Wyvern, and, well, this is not the lane situation I would expect to stick for Vega. Last time they gave Solo the solo lane. But he has boots first. Roaming with the Tusk, certainly very potent, especially when you're roaming into a lane with Wind Ranger or with the Slardar. When you have a Snowball, you can very easily get some kills. Sumeru, ooh, this is a dangerous situation to be in, mostly because Ice Shards can isolate him from backup.
Yeah, he's already skilled Nightmare as well. And the Ion Shell a little bit scary coming out from Mag, so needs to be a little bit careful here. They can definitely contest the top rune from the Radiant side. They don't have the Snowball for solo though, so they do need to be a little bit careful about the spin if the Juggernaut rotates in. They're going to give this over to David though, and that'll be an immediate bottle for the Wisp. Going to be very nice early on for Next.KZ.
I actually like that play from the Bane. You know, just play super aggressively with the Nightmare. If you know, they saw not all of the Vega squadron there, so they know that it's 2 heroes, maybe 3 heroes there. If you find any hero out of position, you put them to sleep and you skewer them up to the high ground. And that is something that is completely unavoidable when you have 2 melee heroes involved there. So I like that decision. It is not going to really matter in the grand scheme of things that much. Solo is going to be playing the zoning support. Tusk zoning out the Magnus. This is, you know, I guess not the hugest strength of the hero, but if he does decide to play aggressively towards this IO, Wind Ranger not really will be able to help out, at least until she gets like level 5.
It does at least force David over towards this mid lane, and maybe he would have liked to accompany his Juggernaut. A little odd to see Solo spending so much time there. He will jump back towards the top lane. I feel like no one has a pretty decent advantage in this lane, whether or not the Tusk was present.
And now Solo is going to make his rotation up towards top. Mag has no Ion Shell available to him right now, but it is pushing the wave in, and they're going to catch Sumeru. Ice Shards available will wall him off, so now it's him versus Solo with the Ion Shell. Sumeru's going to slip around, but with Mag in front, Solo behind, they're going to sleep the Tusk, and it looks like Sumeru is going to get out of there, albeit barely. That's just a small taste of things to come up in this top lane. That is the weakest combo that Vega have. The strongest combo is down towards bottom, snowballing into a Slardar Crush.
Yeah, definitely so, and maybe wanted to see Mag expend that surge onto the Tusk there, but diving into tier 1 a little bit risky, and also does want to hold on to some mana here early on to continue to have lane control up against the melee heroes on Next.KZ's side. So Mag definitely slotted to have a good time in this top lane. Solo going to run into David towards that mid lane, just going to zone the Wisp out for now. David will be just fine, has 2 bottle charges available to him. Solo not quite high enough level to kill him off.
Well, he's sure as hell trying, though. David doesn't have anything good to tether to, so Solo getting a lot of free damage off on this IO. Of course, the bottle will just serve to juice Magnus back up to full, but oh, they actually have 2 bottles here? Illusion! That is a lot more bottling than I really expected in this mid lane.
Yeah, and bot lane, they are going to look to secure that rune as the top lane was taken. The flying down from Seema, he's going to be just a bit late to pick that up. IO able to tether in towards Mag and grab that. Would have been a pretty big play for him to grab that away from the IO. No one in that mid lane. 12 CS to the 8 of Magnus, doing pretty damn well at this point.
Yeah, so he's sitting pretty. Bashu down towards bottom lane, also getting free farm, as you would expect versus this Earthshaker lane. Seema is going to, well, try to go for this Earthshaker kill, but with no Arctic Burn, not going to work. And up towards top, Solo, he's taking a nap. There is nothing really to set up for, and now here comes the IO, but the Ice Shards block off Sumeru regardless. David is still bottling up. Solo with the Ion Shell, trying to drop Sumeru, but it's going to be Sumeru to draw first blood, and now Mag has just got a bail. IO is going to arrive just in the nick of time, and well, Next.KZ off to already a much better start than in the last game.
Yeah, they do pick up the first blood there, overcharge, very nice into the Bane, and just with the right clicks available left, they're not able to bring that Bane down. Solo really needs that snowball, really needs his level 2 here, and spending all this time rotating around has hurt him a bit. On the other hand, Mag has found quite a bit in his lane, almost level 4 now, does have that soul ring, so should be able to stay up in lane and spam out these Ion Shells pretty reliably.
Man, Solo's still on the roam. You would expect at this point he would settle into a lane, at least grab level 3 or something like that, because level 1 Tusk, actually not that great. They could...
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you snipe out the Bane, that would have been pretty sweet, but Solo arrives just a little bit too late for that. You really need the Snowball and the Ice Shards if you're going to be effective, just to get close so you could actually hit people. It's going to be quite a long time until he actually gets that, and I guess fortunately enough for him, everyone else on his team is doing pretty well, but they're not locking down the lanes nearly as hard as they were in the last game, so Earthshaker getting a lot of experience, and that's a lot more than can be said in the last game where Darkseer was getting absolutely crushed.
Top lane Mag just able to surge out. Rotating in was Sumaru with that Nightmare, and they had the Blade Fury already channeling up, but he'll make it out. Body block's not going to be enough from Topor, and he will have to TP back to base. That's going to give a bit of space over to Solo, and it's something we mentioned in last game. Vega had really good control over the lanes, giving a lot of levels over to all the heroes that needed it. And something you alluded to was that this Tusk is a hero that really does well with levels and doesn't necessarily need farm. He went 4-0-9 last game without any items other than his urn. No one will find a kill mid lane, but they'll finally give some levels over to this Tusk who's picked up his snowball.
When he wants more, he's going to land a shackle onto Tomash with the haste rune arriving to that bottom lane a lot faster than the Shaker expected. Easy CC follow-up there from the Slardar, and it's going to be 2 kills overall for this Wind Ranger. Up towards top, Sumeru is going to get snowballed. He does have a Nightmare and a Brain Sap, but with double Ion Shell, it's not even going to help him. Even if he were to cast those skills, it's suddenly 3 kills across the map for the Vega side. No one's already starting to make some action happen with his Wind Ranger. I praised his Queen of Pain, praised his Shadow Fiend in the draft, but this is also a hero that I would be really terrified to face if I was Next.KZ. Wind Ranger very easily got a solo kill on the mag before that all started down.
Yeah, and immediately as they get the snowball, they find a kill as well. So Tusk starting to find his stride, it seems, and he's going to pick up level 3 off of that, 2 levels in the shards. Topor going to go for the Omni Slash onto Mag, and Mag going to be susceptible to it, walks back away from the wave, and that's a nice kill going the Juggernaut's way. That'll give him the makings of his phase boots and the Aquila already in his inventory.
Yeah, Mag just getting, perhaps he thought Solo was a little bit closer, but level 1 Omni Slash is very, very difficult to dodge with a snowball just because it is over so quickly. So yeah, I don't really see any good scenarios for that Darkseer in that situation, but dying as a Darkseer, that was only his first stat 6 minutes in. It's not really the worst deal in the world. He'll be able to recover and then some down the line, and Earthshaker doesn't really have any great ways of coming back. He's still getting some experience right now, but has yet to grab his Soul Ring, and right now with Slaughter hitting level 6, as long as they do have an Arctic Burn, and they do onto Tomash, they can dive for these kills. Here comes the sprinting fish, but Tomash is getting quite a bit of distance away. Arctic Burn level 1 always seems like a really underwhelming skill. With such a high cooldown, you'd expect it to do more.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. The fish are also going to do a bunch of damage under the sprint of Pashe Bashu as well. He's going to pick up his blink, and he's going to rush that as well. They're going to have the amp damage up onto the Earthshaker. He's going to try and deny himself. The shackle will be there, but Roshan going to be able to pick up that kill, and nicely played by the Earthshaker there to deny himself. Does force the Slardar to rotate out of lane, loses a bit of CS as well towards that blink.
Oh, they're looking for Ahmed now. Shackle very easily lined up for no one. Didn't even work at all for it. Snowball, Ice Shards. Well, the Snowball's going to connect, but right into an RP. Solo is now stuck under tower range, and he has no backup. He's going to drop. Got a lot further out of position than he really thought. I think he thought that the Shards were going to keep him in, keep the target in place long enough so that he wasn't in tower range. But Wind Ranger Power Shot looking for David's going to connect, but no one has no more mana. Where are you going? He really wants this IO kill. One more Power Shot will kill off the IO if it lands, and it will land. Wind Ranger is sniping it up.
Yeah, very nicely played by no one. Didn't feel like he could get that kill either. It seemed like a bit of an odd rotation behind that tier 1. No TPs rotating in from Next.KZ though, and they were well aware of where everyone's position was. The Bane and the Jug were up in lane, up in Mag's face at the time. So well played by no one, and it feels like, yeah, maybe Solo waiting a little bit too long mid lane for the snowball. Perhaps going for the snowball before the Shards there kills off the Mag, but he goes for the Shards first. Ahmed, able to skewer out to the north end. Does waste the RP though, so they know that's down for about another minute, and it's just a Tusk kill in the end.
Bottom lane, Tomash getting very close to Pashe Bashu. He's going to pick a fight with the Slardar. IO is here, but it's an IO. It doesn't do that much, especially with the shackle onto Tomash. Amplify damage on both heroes. Ice Shard is going to come in. Tomash is probably going to die right now because David does not have a relocate. Snowball through onto both. Going to kill off the Shaker. Now David is going to jump to a creep, but Solo's still on his tail, and David is so slow without boots. It's a double kill for the Tusk. That was super ambitious, and over towards mid lane, Ahmed's dropping very low as well. Arctic Burn going to fall just short of getting this kill. Another power shot snipe, perhaps. Wind Ranger is in a pretty good position for it. They don't have vision of Ahmed, and they may have to help out Seema because Sumeru is right there. Solo is actually going to find Ahmed. Power shot, quick fire, not going to land. Tomash is going to arrive. Fissure going to not do that much. The snowball does go over towards Sumeru. Solo doing his best right now. Shard's going to completely block him out. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. And Solo gets the Urn charge right before he snipes the Mag. Now here comes Pashe with the Blink Dagger onto Tomash after killing off the Bane. Shackle to land onto him. That's going to be 3 kills. And the items coming in at literally the perfect time. The Urn as well as that Blink Dagger from the Slardar. It doesn't get better than that.
That power shot. That's all that needs to be said about that engagement. Mag hanging around a little bit too long for Ahmed there. They're going to try and trade this tier 1 top, but Mag's already moved himself over to this top lane to defend. They have the glyph as well, so Tapor needs to be a little bit careful. Does have the Omni Slash, as well as his Fates will back off wisely so at this point, but Vega, after not having the best start in this one in terms of laning and getting experience, has really hit their stride now. 10 minutes in, 11-3, starting to gain quite a bit of advantage in shades of game 1. Once again, the one glimmer of hope for Next.KZ is that their Juggernaut is farming fairly well.
Yeah, that's all well and good and everything like that, but Winter Wyvern's closing on to his level 6, and Ahmed's going to get shackled yet again in the mid lane. Power Shot going to connect, Blink Crush for the chain stun, plus the Splinter Blast. Had an RP that could have caught 2 if he was ever not stunned in that engagement, but it's a very easy kill again on this Mag. No one has set up so many kills just landing these shackle shots, and now he has, a Mithril Hammer, so looks like it's going to be straight up damage for the Wind Ranger, no Force Staff or anything like that. David's starting to clear off some of these creeps, but Seema is going to find it with the Slardar here. Blink forward onto David, one shot, going to actually neutral kills, get it. So that's the second deny that Next.KZ have experienced. Sumer's going to stick around, gets Power Shot for his troubles, now amplified up. Slaughter has no mana, however, and Topor is coming around from the side, has an Omni Slash, wants to use it on Pashe, but gets shackled for his troubles. They're just going to keep him alive for a little while longer, gets cursed up. They're trying to just get rid of this Omni Slash as a problem, and they will force the Juggernaut to spin away. No one, though, still wants a little bit more. Is there any snipe opportunities? No, not anymore. Not with Healing Ward drop. The snipe will still land. Ice Shards coming in as well from the side. Suddenly Solo's in a 1v3 behind the enemy tier 2. That's a little bit ambitious for him. He's going to get skewered out and he will go down. But still, it's only a Tusk to die in the grand scheme of things. Not really a terribly huge deal for Vega.
I swear no one is hacking. He's got pure map vision right now. He hasn't missed a power shot in God knows how long. I was a little worried for the Radiant side farming up that stack as I saw Sumaru rotating over with a haste. But then I clicked on the Bane and he's level 3. 11 minutes into the game. Seems super ineffective. As well as Tamashto's on this Earthshaker despite being level 6 from that offlane. He's only got the Soul Ring available to him. Doesn't seem like there's very many good situations with the Snowball, with the Surge, with the Wind Run, and the Cold Embrace available for him to walk in for an Echo Slam. So really feel like this Earthshaker pick's been pretty underwhelming thus far.
Oh, Mega towards top is going to take an entire Omni Slash. And he will get out of there A-OK. Omni Slash really needs to hit level 2 if he's going to keep getting these solo kills, or get another solo kill, Topor. Going for a Dark Seer with that much armor, going to be a tough sell. Top tower does get denied, at least that's a little bit of a bright patch there for Next.KZ, but right now they really just need a Blink Dagger on any of their heroes. I don't even care who it is. Shaker Magnus obviously will be ideal, but right now it's going to be Pashe chasing down, not going to find anyone there, no one going to get Nightmared out, and everyone's going to cleanly disengage, at least for Next.KZ, but these blinks are not coming up for Next in a timely fashion just because they're dying so often, and it looks like they might lose Magnus again. Power Shot is going to miss. What a shame.
Bot lane, Seema stalking the Earthshaker. He got a glimpse of Tamash as he walked out under ward vision, but he's going to walk
They're
over.
Going right into the tier 2, a refreshed amplified damage, Blink Crush. 2 TPs are coming in, plus the relocate, but Io and Topor, they may be able to catch Mag, but instantly the curse is there. Tomash taking a beating, he'll die instantly, plus the crush, plus the vacuum back into a wall. That's going to kill off 3. David's trying to escape right now. The Healing Ward's keeping up alive, but not enough. They're going to lose 4. Courier flying over the top. They're only going to lose the Courier. And that is a tier 2 dive, 13 minutes in, that resulted in no HP loss from Vega. Are you kidding me right now?
Courier had a Yasha recipe as well for the Juggernaut. They'll pick up the tier 1 in mid lane, and things starting to get out of hand once again at the 13-minute mark. Beautiful synergy of abilities there mid lane. That's the first time all game when one of these aggressive ganks have happened that I've seen TP rotations, and unfortunately they were just a little bit too late from Next.KZ. Shackle's going to catch out Topor now with the Focus Fire and the Maelstrom. No one doing worlds of damage, and he's going to bring down the Jug.
No one is so unlucky, man. Never lucky, and now he's going to get Nightmared. There's still no grip here, so I don't know what the upside is, although Mag is coming. Skewer in RP. No one's in a lot of trouble right now. He will go down, dropping an unstoppable streak to the Io. It's an Io to get the kill. It's not really great for Next.KZ, but they kill off the Wind Ranger, and she doesn't actually get that kill. These neutrals for Next.KZ have been working for them. They've seriously paid off their jungle.
Is that the 3rd deny of the game?
Yep, 1 to Roshan and 2 to that camp alone.
Wow, that is really unfortunate. No one still feel like he's playing out of his mind. Maybe it's better he doesn't get the kill. He doesn't feed over a bigger streak there, but that's just grasping at straws. Top lane, they're going to find Mag. He's going to be able to mech up, but the Fisher will be there. Echo Slime committed as well. He's going to try and surge away. If he makes it here, that's going to be huge, but the relocate coming through, and the ball is going to try and finish him off. They will be able to do so. Don't see a solo relocate garner a kill too often, but Next.KZ with a minute here of momentum going their way. They are going to try and push in the bot lane for the Radiant side, but Pashe, a little bit low on mana, is probably going to have to back off here. Solo is here. This Bane is only level 5, and Sumaru going to back off for now wisely. They are going to spot the Juggernaut rotating through, and they're not going to let the Dire know that they're aware of this as well. They'll bait out the Glyph, and it's not in deny range for the tower. The shards will be thrown out from Solo. Maybe that tips Next.KZ off to knowing that there is a ward here to the west, but either way, they'll stymie the push towards their tier 1 in the bot lane and probably be able to deny this here.
Well, in the meantime, no one does find his kill. No neutral denied there, and they catch Ice Shards onto David. Snowball's there as well, and it'll catch him still in the Ice Shards. Walrus Punch to get the kill. Ice Shards working double time, and they're going to unleash Slardar on this Bane with the Ion Shell. Amplified damage, Sumeru is going to get crushed and then just beaten down, plus shredded by the Ion Shell. That's going to be 2 kills in the bottom lane, and the tower was not denied. No one's still stalking the enemy jungle right now. Has a point booster now delivered. Is going to be facing up against 2 heroes. The courier does spot them both out, and no one. He's standing still. He's looking for a shackle angle. Not quite going to find it. Omni Slash is there. That should kill off the Wind Ranger, and it will. Topor is going to find a pretty easy kill on Hirsch, who maybe a little bit too boldly farming the enemy jungle.
Yeah, perhaps feeling a little bit overconfident there, but either way, space was created. I suppose they do find that tier 1 bot lane. They're going to spot out this Juggernaut as well briefly towards the Ancients, and Solo going to find him here. He has the Empower up, does have the Blade Fury there. They could have dropped the Walrus Punch underneath that, but Solo not able to close the distance. And they will have to back off for now. Not too much kill potential with just the duo of the Wyvern and the Tusk.
Seems like Vega have slowed down a little bit as far as their aggression is concerned, but Next.KZ aren't getting a substantial amount of farm in the meantime. They're going to actually get jumped Sumeru by Pashibashu. Nice RP onto 2, skewer them back into Topor, but he gets cursed right now. Topor's going to take a lot of damage. Snowball's there, plus the Splinter Blast. Topor needs to get healed by David. And it's not actually going to be that much damage dealt to the Next.KZ side. Vega more interested in disengaging, but Aishar's going to catch 2 again. Pasha has another Blink crushed, and we'll catch it onto 3. That's going to kill off the Shaker and Ahmed immediately. That's a triple kill for Pashibashu. Maybe even looking for a little bit more. Splinter Blast not going to do anything. David has a tether out, but he's running a little bit too far to the south. Where are you going, David? He's going to relocate out, but when he comes back, I don't think he's going to enjoy what he sees.
He's definitely not going to bring anyone back either. There's no Omni Slash available for the Jug, else maybe they opt to go in here, but David, he's going to relocate back in. Actually, no one going to pay any attention to him. So he's just able to tether out to the north, but they will secure this tier 2 tower. With amp damage, they can perhaps go into Roshan as well, but might be a little bit scary at this point. For Vega to do so. They'll get that last hit on the tower to Slardar. Shackle going to jump through. Does hit onto Sumaru. The power shot is there with the Ice Shards. He'll be able to Nightmare away from that Arctic Burn, and they are going to catch out Seema on the side of the Fisher. Echo Slime going to be used just for a solo kill on the Wyvern. The Fiend's Grip used onto no one, and Mag not going to be able to jump in with a vacuum. He'll just blink out and try to make it the hell out of here, but he's going to go for the kill onto the Wisp, and it's going to be a little bit overzealous from him. Fisher going to finish him off, and that's a 3-0 going Next.KZ's way after the Wisp just makes it out scot-free.
Vega are definitely clowning around a little bit. You can tell, like, they dropped the wall there when there was literally no one in the area for Next.KZ. Pashibashu is going to stun Ahmed, run into a whole bunch of heroes just to grab a bounty rune. You don't make that play unless you are really confident in your chances of winning. However, he's still sprinting out. Are you kidding me? What? How the hell did he get out of that one?
No idea how he makes it out there. Ern going to keep him fairly healthy as well. They can look to turn this, but he's going to run all the way back to base. He does pick up a Shadow Blade on top of his Blink here. Interesting pickup, especially considering Silver Edge really doesn't have much merit in this one. Can cancel, I guess, Aftershock from Earthshaker.
Yeah, it's a mediocre pickup, but hey, if you're on the aggressive, you might as well go all in on the aggressive. Pashe's going for the standard Wind Ranger build, so that's going to be a little bit more of the guaranteed solidified late game. And Pashe actually might get some value out of this very early Shadowblade pickup as he looks for Tomash. First hit bash, and the Amplify beat down. Tomash needs to get a stun out, but he doesn't even have the time to do so. He's going to drop RP over onto Wind Ranger, or actually, yeah, that was an RP committed, but no damage follow-up at all. Now Blink for it again from Pashe. Going to keep Sumeru out, leaving Ahmed to dry. Walrus Punch is there. That'll get the kill, and they're going to chase for more. Surge on the Slara. That's so unnecessary, but he's going to go in for more regardless. They still have vision of Sumeru, and they have vision of David right now, vacuuming him back. Shackle not going to latch, but the snowball's coming, and they'll burst them down with no crush needed. That means they still have it for the next target. It's going to be Sumeru next to the tier 4s. That's a double kill for the Wind Ranger. Topor's still alive. Omni Slash is going to get the kill and jump over to Solo as well. Right into a Walrus Punch he goes. Shards. Solo's going to try to put up an Ice Shield for himself, but Pashe still wants more. He should probably think about leaving right about now, because I don't think this is a good place to be. I don't know. He's going to run to Tomash looking for the stun race. He'll jump right over him. Is he going to escape this one? I think this tower should kill him off.
On cooldown.
No, Crush is there. He's still alive. 30 HP. Now here comes the heals. Mech and the Embrace. Suddenly Pashe is healthy enough to potentially turn around. He's going to Shadow Blade up. Shockwave going to miss. Fissure also. And Seema is the one who's in the most trouble right now, but Pashe will TP out. Mag and Seema on the run. They have Glimmer, they have Surge. I think they should be able to make it out alive. That was what a dive.
It's making for some exciting Dota. Diving to tier 4s when the tier 2 is still up is a little bit uncommon, but either way, they do lose no one once again, and he had quite a big advantage. So every time this Wind Ranger dies, they are feeding quite a bit over to Next.KZ. We'll see a bit of a dip in the gold graph there, but still a 10k network lead for Vega and about 6k in the way of experience. They're going to go hunting once again with this Shadowblade. Not going to find anyone just yet, as we will see Tomash back off on the Earthshaker, but if nothing else, the map control is heavily in Vega's favor.
Well, unfortunately, the one area for Vega where they don't have map control is the one area where Topor is farming away at a Roshan. But it's going to be Sumeru, baited by an Observer Ward. It was a trap the entire time. Blink Crush into Beatdown's going to get that kill. Deny the Observer Ward. Oh my god, that was freaking awesome, man. I've never seen that before, but I want to see it again. Juggernaut does pick up the Aegis of the Immortal, and Vega do have to be very careful. They give Juggernaut way too much farm, then they might be in for a much rougher game than they really expected. But they're going to cut off the Juggernaut on his retreat back to the base, or at least in theory they will. Now they'll back off, but even with the Juggernaut having a double life, it's not going to stop Vega from taking this tier 2 tower.
Juggernaut going to pick up a Shadow Blade of his own as well, so that's going to hurt his ability to scale a little bit, but maybe allow him to survive through some of these engagements earlier on. They do have the amp damage, though, on Vega's side, so really curious pickup for me on that Juggernaut. Either way, he's going to try and Shadow Blade in for an Omni Slash here. He is going to find out solo, but does have that Snowball. No targets to cast it on, though, so maybe could have gone in on the Tusk there, but perhaps a little bit worried about what lies behind him.
Yeah, though they were kind of in the area, Next.KZ didn't have full vision of Vega teleporting out. They would have definitely went there if they knew that everyone else from Vega was leaving. Could have had one at least, 2 maybe free kills, but they're going to smoke up regardless. They have an RP at the ready. They're going to run straight into Solo right now. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip. Solo might get embraced right now, but to what end? Vacuum's going to cancel it. Solo gets hit with the RP, but he's still at full HP. Glimmered out. Down Snowball, turn around. They're going to curse the Vomit, bring him down. Walrus Punch going to kill off the Bane, and Wind Ranger can take a full-on Omni Slash. Unfortunately for no, it jumps up to Seema, and no one might actually have a chance to get out of here. Mag unfortunately trapped by his own shards. By his teammate shards, rather. Solo's going to close in, but Topor is doing a lot of damage right now, but here comes Pashe. He's the last one to arrive. He's going to clean up the IO. Now going for Topor. Snowball in. It's a party in the Snowball, and they're going to go straight for the Juggernaut. He's going to walk right into the Illusion Wall, but he's still alive because they don't have any True Sight. Shadow Blade, I guess, paying off, but it's going to be a 2 for 4 after all is said and done.
Maybe a bit of a misplay using the amp damage on that Wisp, who is about 40% HP there, instead of using it on the Juggernaut. But either way, Echo Slam completely whiffing in the river there for Tomash, and if that hits on 1 or 2 targets, I feel like Next.KZ win that fight handily. Either way, they are going to take that tier 2 top. Now, they do lose no one once again, so Wind Ranger, after being very potent early on, now 9-5, does have that full Aghanim's though, so not the biggest loss in terms of item progression.
Well, I mean, they're still doing pretty darn well, so Wind Ranger slowing down, not really a terribly huge deal. She could still dish damage if that's what she needs to do, but really she's been on the receiving end of an Omni Slash pretty much every single time there's been an Omni Slash, and it looks like she's going to try to get some revenge. Topor is not going to see this one coming. Shackle, look at that range! That was an angry ping from the IO. Topor is going to Shadow Blade out, however. Power Shot's going to whiff, and once again, there's no true sight here from Vega. They did buy a gem after they failed to kill off the Juggernaut that first time. It's on the Tusk, but it will not help out the Wind Ranger. She does a lot of damage, but not quite enough.
Shadow Blade, easiest item pickup of Topor's life. He still has that Aegis available for another 2 minutes as well, so definitely can look to be farming aggressively as he was in that bot lane, and no one not able to bring him down with the focus fire, but looks like we will see Vega convene towards this mid lane as Mag's going to join the fray with his
Vega. Though he's going to amp them blink out. Still remnants of that D-Ward sentry from previous, but there's still an Aegis on this Juggernaut, yet Vega are just going to go mid. That's pretty bold.
Yeah, it is a little bit confident from them. Doesn't look like they want to be playing too long. Jump forward. We'll give them some information, though, from the Slardar. He'll get the amp damage up onto the Bane, and they'll deny up a sentry ward as well. Focus fire from the low ground. Can be channeled up by no one. He's going to elicit a response here. Jump forward from the Fisher. Skewer's not going to land. Omni Slash jumps out, but it's going to put the Juggernaut in a precarious situation. Do they have detection for him? He's just going to be able to Blade Fury run out. Jump forward. Crush is going to catch Ahmed with the Shackle. Power Shot through 2 as well. Splinter Blast is there. Curse onto the Earthshaker, and that'll bring him down. The IO actually able to relocate out the Juggernaut, but to what avail? GG. Well played is going to be called. Sumaru going to be the last to fall. Juggernaut dying as well. Shadowblade not going to save him this time, but maybe the Ancient Falling will. They get the amp damage off onto him. The shards, the snowball, one last right click. Juggernaut going to be brought down. And that's the entire lineup of Next.KZ dead. Tomash buying back on the Earthshaker going in. He's going to get Waller's punched up, and in the shards, they'll bring him down as well. And GG once again going to be sounded from Next.KZ in under 40 minutes. Both games taken. 40 minutes combined, I should say, both games taken by Vega in this best of 3.
In this game, there was a lot of clowning around from Vega. Caught some of it on screen as they just were trying to outlast hit the top lane tier 2. They made some really weird decisions that they got away with because they're just so far ahead. That's why it took them, a whole other 11 minutes to finish this game. But still, it's Vega Squadron to absolutely stomp their way through Next.KZ. That means Next are going to be the first ones out of this tournament. And there goes my dog in celebration. This means that Vega have a future date with Power Rangers. That time has yet to be set, guys. So Vega going to stay alive in this tournament. For right now, though, we are done. We hope you enjoyed the cast, and I hope my dog is going to be quiet soon. But I hope you enjoyed the cast, guys. If you did, be sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm Mikelorus. You follow me at Mikelorus. You follow my co-caster at MRP_Dota. It's on the screen. It's underneath the stream. It's everywhere. And that is about it for us, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for more Game Show Invitational.
GG, guys.
Prepare